Hey guys, Infidel1258. Today I want to get into another video trying to explain the importance of identifying a card that you can flip, an asset that you can flip to maximize the returns you're receiving from the game. This is a super complicated topic and it deserves diving into from a variety of angles so that many different examples can be shown and held to help articulate when you would do this, why you would do this. And it's deeply complicated because, as you've heard me talk about recently, sometimes you do this in a context where you've quote unquote lost money on an asset, and yet you do it for profit, for gain. How is that possible? If you lose 50% of your book value on an asset, how is it possible that it could translate into a gain? It is, and it is possible. We're gonna talk about two different examples that would come from comments from the community in this video about that topic. So stick around, stay tuned, like and subscribe. And the first comment is one that I don't have access to anymore, but I read it the other day and I thought, man, that's so true. It was, I wonder if I could find it. Okay, so I found three comments that I want to address, and I want to, I'll break out the calculator. We're going to show some examples of how this would work out. Because I think this is going to illustrate how you guys can think logically about selling an asset for less than you paid for it, but that sale profiting you. It sounds impossible. It actually sounds like it sounds like a nonsense idea. But if you bought it for 100 and you sell it for 50, you've lost money, right? Well, it depends, because in the new moment, the present, when you're selling that old asset for $50 for half of its original value, you're solidifying a paper loss, turning it into an actualized loss. The thing is, does that $50 in that moment, in that context, translate into a massive opportunity? That holding on to the $100 asset, the paper value of that $100 asset, won't necessarily offer you that sort of ability. And we were talking about Alric, and we were talking specifically about how Alric, the summoner, has gone down probably half his value. He was selling for $2,000 in November 2021, and he's been selling for a lot less than that now. If we look at rare, we look at summoners, find Alric's right there. You can buy max Alric for $1,200. So he's about, I'm gonna say it's more than half of his value. But just for easy numbers, imagine he's gone down. No, you know what? Let's just do it accurately. He would have cost $2,000 in November of last year, and right now he's costing about $1,200. So that's 3/5 of the value. So that's 60% of the original value. So that's a significant US dollar drop off. But does that matter? And the short answer is it doesn't, guys. Don't stop caring about what the dollar value of your sale is. Think about what that dollar value at this moment in the new context of the present that you're walking in can translate into. And so if, for instance, as one example, I talked about before, if you were to sell your Alric and replace it with a Kelly or Frendel, you're going to get a replacement asset for, I'm going to say $300, 1/3 or 1/4 of the cost of your Alric, and leaving you with $800, $900 left over in your pocket based on this current Alric at $1,200. So that's one easy way to think about it. Look, you could replace your summoner, and I would argue Kelia is better than Alric. And if you want to explore that, you can come over to the website here and just see what league you're playing in. But check out the summoners for the water team, the rare. You get a 52% win rate with Kelia. You get a 41%, a diamond anyways. At gold, you get a higher with Alric. At silver, higher with Alric. And very comparable at bronze. And so, for the cost differential on this thing, whoa, guys. Kelia. Now, that's the example I already raised. I don't want to beat that dead horse. That's one amazing opportunity if you had an Alric to sell. But here's the thing, guys. There's other ways to think about it, and you need to understand these different opportunities and these different ways of thinking it through, because there's a million ways to benefit yourself in a game like this. And it's not always, should I sell this one summoner and buy X, like this alternative. It's like one of the comments, where did it go now? Matt said it first, and then another person said it also. Cimarron. Matt goes, I think you are right, Dwayne. Unless you're taking money out of the game, you're not dealing with dollars anyways. Alaric is down maybe 60-70%, whereas DEC is down significantly more. And you'll get a lot more DEC back than you spent in the first place than you would use to put into other, and you could use that to put into other cards. With DEC being half of its peg, you can safely assume that even if you don't trade Alaric for other cards, and the value of the DEC will return to peg eventually, no matter what, probably a lot sooner than Alaric going back to 2000. So that's that's another example, totally different than what I talked about. And Matt's totally right. That's a really smart thing to think about. Now, I don't know if that's going to, I like what he's saying. I actually believe what he's saying, but the point isn't, I'm not trying to tell you that Matt's right and you guys got to sell your cards and hold on to the DEC, wait for peg to come back. I'm just saying, look at this sort of thinking. And I give you one example. Matt's giving you a totally different example. What if you sold your Alaric? You bought it for $2,000 US, but that was, when DEC was worth 2 pennies each. And now DEC is worth like a fraction of a penny, right? Like a tenth of a penny, or no, it's like a 20th of a penny or something crazy. So, gigantic difference in the currency you're going to be paid in. So you're going to receive tons more DEC. And yes, that DEC is going to equate to the same, to less in terms of US dollar values. But again, like Matt says, and like I've said, it doesn't matter. If you bought it for $2,000, you get $1,200 worth of DEC today, and you bought it for $2,000 worth of DEC back then, but that DEC number has grown dramatically now, which it has. You'll get so many more DEC. And then thinking about what he's saying, you just kind of, I believe the DEC peg is going to be restored, and that huge differential in DEC you've walked into through essentially the buying of Alaric and then the later selling of Alaric would translate into potentially a huge boom, because $2,000 worth of DEC in November would be a smaller DEC bag than $900 worth of DEC today. And then Cimarron said something similar, which I thought this was the first comment I saw of the two comments. He says, if you think of it this way, back in October, Alaric was $200 if you bought, was $200 if you bought it with SPS at 50 cents. That would be 4,000 SPS. No, he must mean $2,000. If Alaric was $2,000 and you bought it with 50 cent SPS, it's 4,000 SPS. Yep. And if you sell Alaric now, you're going to get 8,200 SPS. In fact, it's more than that, because at today's price, I just showed you 1,200 S. The price of SPS has moved like since this video, since that comment, and also the price of Alaric has moved. But if you sell your Alaric for $1,200 and you're getting 6 cent SPS or whatever it is today, it's a huge number. 8,000 is what he says, and it might be more like 12 or something like that. Anyways, it's way more than what you invested. So whether you look at it from a DEC perspective or an SPS perspective, they're both, you're going to get more of that asset back. So if you care about DEC right now, and maybe you should because of the peg, then that trade makes a ton of sense. If you care about SPS right now, this trade could make a ton of sense. If you care about alternate cards that could at least offer most of the utility that you have with this one card, then, and leave money in your pocket afterwards that could be reinvested into other cards, that's a third way that this could really benefit you guys. And Cimarron finished his thought by saying, selling Alaric when it was 2,000 would it buy the number of gold or silver level cards it would now, selling it for 600? No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. Selling Alaric when it was 2,000 would it buy the number of gold or silver cards it would now? Selling it for 600? No, it wouldn't. So he's saying like selling it for less now will buy you even more. It doesn't matter if the number, if the nominal value you're receiving in your hand has gone down. Do you see that? That's the point, guys. And I'm trying to really drive that home because I want everybody who watches this channel to stop thinking about it like, oh man, my cards went down in value. Has the utility changed? Has the fundamental analysis around the game changed? Has the opportunity within the game changed? Because sometimes little things like this, new summoners coming out, they're being printed, allow them to be lower. Kill Your Friendle is cheaper because of that. And then the opportunity, that's like a fundamental consideration that a player can take into consideration and then move on to extract. Or SPS has gone down in value, or DEC has gone down in value, and as a result you could do what Matt or what Cimarron has said. And he goes, while it's a loss, quote unquote, it is really, is it really, or is it a gain in growing your deck, or a gain in the amount of SPS that you could one day go to 50 cents and you doubled plus your $2,000. So like you doubled your SPS on the sale of the card, and the SPS goes from 6 cents to 50 cents. Holy cow. That's what I'm talking about, guys. This is the thoughtfulness that I want you guys all to bring to the table. It doesn't mean sell your cards today, get on the DEC bandwagon or get on the SPS bandwagon. I love that you guys are growing your decks. I love that you have certain cards and that you're holding certain cards for many, many years. And that is a prudent play. So that's one amazing opportunity. But what I'm trying to urge you to do is to be thoughtful about when you decide to sell or when you decide to hold, that you've fully considered the benefits and the costs of each choice, because sitting still has pros and cons. Staying, like just hodling, has pros and cons. Selling has pros and cons, and sometimes it's worth it to take action even when there's a paper loss associated with that. Even when there's like theoretically you've lost half your value. It doesn't matter to me what the nominal number is. What matters to me is how much value. And always remember this, and we'll maybe leave here. The value is different than the price. So who cares if the price is half of what it used to be, if the value I can trade it for today is quadruple what I am currently holding. If you're growing your value, stop worrying about the price, and you're going to be crushing it in 3, 4, 5 years when we go through our next bull cycle and you have gone through and accumulated a ton of these amazing assets doing trades like this. Actually, before we go, I want to drive one more comment that I saw here that was deep, that actually pushed me over the edge on this one and made me want to do this video, because it was driving that exact point home. Where did it go? This was the last comment. This is concise and this hits home. This is the point, guys. Compy TV says, and he's been here forever, so shout out to Compy. I don't think it's useful to worry about what you paid for an asset in the past. Focus on what is best for the future and forget the past. And this is an evolving attentiveness that today would lead you to make certain decisions, and tomorrow might say those decisions were bad. And you have to be humble enough that you're going to be okay with that. You always make your bed and you lie in it. But sometimes you're going to say to yourself, you're going to start making like a certain path, carving a certain path for yourself, quote unquote, making your bed. And then you're going to say to yourself, no, that doesn't work. It's something, well, that's wrong, or I made a mistake there. And you're going to make this choice to start over. Now, have you lost something in that process? Maybe there was some financial degradation because of a quote unquote bad choice. But if you're constantly assessing things and analyzing what you could do, not just in this moment, but planning optimally for the future, and not getting bogged down by what went wrong in the past. Wow, guys, that's going to transform what you're capable of in blockchain, in life, really. So I thought this was worth doing a roundup video on these comments. Shout out to all the people that dropped comments: Cimarron, Matt, Compy. Definitely appreciate it, guys. And I'm going to leave it there, but thank you so much for your time and attention. I hope you're having an amazing day. God bless.